Hello and welcome back to my channel, Craft Time by Casey. I am Casey, and today this is the multi-strand toggle clasp bracelet that I will be making. Most of the components came from Sam's Bead Box for the month of January 2025, and with the toggle clasp from my most recent Beebeecraft.com order. So if you're interested in either one of those, I will have all the information in the description box below, including my codes. For Sam's Bead Box, my code is Casey. And remember, I spell my name just a little different. That's K-A-S-I. And that code will get you $5 off your first box of a subscription. And for Beebeecraft.com, my code is Casey10. And that code will get you 10% off your whole order from the website. So if you would like to see how this multi-strand bracelet came about, then stay tuned. I'm going to start with the tools that I will be using. I have 2 sets of chain nose pliers, 1 set of cutters, 1 set of round nose pliers, and 1 set of crimping pliers. And I want to briefly mention my tool set. It is the Casual Comfort tool set, and as the name suggests, these tools are so comfortable to use. A lot of times jewelry making tools will be made like this, just a little bit smaller, and they certainly function, but these tools, they just seem to be made for adult size hands, which in my opinion is what leads to the comfort. You can see the grips are quite a bit larger as well. They're just so comfortable to use. So I will have this tool set listed below, along with everything else that did not come from the Bead Box or from my Beebeecraft order. I will also link below the opening video I did for both my Sam's Bead Box for this month and my most recent Beebeecraft order. And it will have a detailed description of everything that I use that came from those two. I will also be using 49 strand bead along wire in the color Bright, which is this silver color. As you can see, I'm running out a little bit. And I always get the 100 feet because I do go through it so quickly. So I've already cut a piece of wire and it's right at 12 inches. This bracelet will be highlighting a lot of the beads from the Sam's Bead Box. And I knew as soon as I opened these beads, I had to use them. These are so beautiful. With these cherry blossoms, I don't know, they spoke to me. I absolutely love them. And of course, from my Beebeecraft order, I am using one of my toggle clasps. And I love it when clasps become part of the design. A lot of times clasps can just be strictly functional, which is great, but it is so beautiful like this when they become part of the design of the bracelet, along with being functional. So this is a really nice toggle clasp. And for my own stash, I'll be using some 4mm pearls and some 6mm pearls. I will also be using a lot of the findings. So I have some spacer beads down here, some bead caps, crimp covers, jump rings, crimp tubes, wire guardians, and some larger spacer beads. So here is how I start each strand. I'm gonna put on a jump ring, a crimp tube, and a wire guardian. Put it through one side and wrap it around, put it through the other. So you want to get it where that jump ring is up in that wire guardian, and then I'm going to pinch it closed with my fingers. And then I want both ends of the wire through that crimp tube. I'm going to pull on the longer end. Don't need quite that much of a tail. And I know these parts are small, but I want to have that wire separated so that it's not crossed under the crimp tube. I'm going to go in with my crimping pliers into that second divot and give it a good smash. Get that taco shape. Turn it on its side. Go into the first divot. Give it another smash. And then I'm going to go in with the flat part on the end. Give it the final smash. Makes it nice and snug. And then I'm going to take that crimp cover, put it right on top of that smashed crimp tube, just like that. and then flip it up. I'm gonna go in with my chain nose pliers, give it a gentle smash, and then I'm gonna go front to back on that crimp cover. I'm gonna give it that round shape, just like that, and that's how I start each strand. So now it's simply the order of the beads, and there are just some beautiful, beautiful beads that I wanted to highlight. And of course, as you saw from the intro, I'm making a multi-strand bracelet, and usually when I do that, I have a focal strand, like a main focal strand, which is what this one is. So here is my design. So here is the first part, and I'm going to slide this down. And this small rondelle is too small to actually feed that tail back into it. The hole in there is not big enough. Normally, I would say you feed that tail into the beads, into the first couple of beads, and it kind of rests in there. But every now and again, when a bead is too small, here's what I do. I'm gonna take my cutters and I'm gonna get absolutely as close as I can on that tail and cut it off. And the beads will rest down on there. You do not need that tail to come up through the first few beads. So here is the first section. And in this next section, I will be using my 4-leaf bead caps. I'm gonna show you a trick that I use when I have wide hole beads. Now, these beautiful cherry blossom beads have very wide holes. So if I put it on here, just like this, it would move around and you could see on this wire, it would kind of slide and it wouldn't kind of fall correctly with that bead cap. So here's where I'm using my smaller spacer beads. So I'm gonna put on 3. When it falls down, it looks just like that. And then I'm gonna put on one of these, and they will fall right over the top. So it falls right on that bead cap, and the spacer beads fill that space so it doesn't move as much. Just like that. So you don't see those spacer beads, but they serve a very important purpose. So I'm gonna put the bead cap on the other side of it. And now it will not shift around as much. Now you definitely want the bead to be able to move, of course, but it won't shift off of that wire very much. All right, so I put another one on there. I did the same thing. It has the 3 spacer beads underneath it to kind of fill that space, just like that. And I did another section, just like that one at the beginning. So here's what I have so far. And now I'm gonna have the centerpiece. And this is gonna be kind of our focal center bead. And it is check glass, but I love that it has almost a gemstone looking finish with that gold wash. It's so pretty. So here is my focal part in the center of those 6mm pearls, and then that beautiful center flower bead. Pull it down, and that's what I have so far. So now I'm going to repeat this pattern that I have on this side over here. All right, so here we have it. And I don't know, I absolutely love these beads. They're so pretty. So now we're gonna close it off. I'm gonna put on a jump ring, a crimp tube, and a wire guardian. I'll put it through one side, wrap it around, put it through the other. I wanna get it where that jump ring is up in there and pinch it closed with my fingers. I'm gonna have both ends of the wire through that crimp tube, and now I'm gonna pull it down. And again, just like with the other side, normally here I would put the tail through the first couple of beads, but again, this smaller bead, the hole is too small, so the tail is gonna be coming out right at the crimp tube. And you wanna pull it snug, but here's where you have to have the balance, because you don't wanna pull it too snug where the bracelet doesn't move. So you want the strand to be flexible, right, and be able to move, but you don't want any gaps between the beads. So you want to make sure that you have that balance. And I'm going to hold this and go in with my crimping pliers into the second divot and give it a good smash. Get that taco shape, turn it on its side, go into the first divot, give it another smash, and then go back in with that flat part on the end. Final smash, and that has it pretty snug. And I'm gonna hold it like this, take that crimp cover, put it right on top of that smashed crimp too, and flip it up. I go in with my chain nose pliers and give it a gentle smash. And this part is always just a little bit difficult to see, but I'm gonna do the same thing I did on the other side and gently curve in those edges. Give it the round shape, just like that. And I'm gonna get my cutters, go in as close as I can, get that tail, just like that. And here is the strand. Oh, I just think it is so pretty. I love it. So like I said, this is the focal strand, and I have already made the second strand. And here it is. So it's a simple repeated pattern between the 4mm pearls and the 6mm pearls, and of course the spacer beads all the way across, and then I have one flower in the center. Same pattern on the other side. And it is started and stopped the same way, just like that. So it is a very nice accent strand to the focal strand. And for the purpose of length, I want to show you, if you look at just the beads, like you start at the bead right here to this bead, I usually try to get my strands right at 6.5 inches. This one's just a little bit over, but just at 6.5 inches. So when I'm designing a bracelet and I have it here on my, I guess, knitting needle here, I usually measure it out, just the beads, before I start doing anything else, at 6.5 inches. Because I know once I start doing all the endings with the wire guardian, the jump rings, and the clasp, whatever clasp, it's gonna be about another inch to it. And I want my bracelets to be right at about 7.5 inches total. So there you have it. And the focal strand is the same. There you go. So to put them on the clasp is very simple. So I only need one jump ring. So I have a jump ring on either strand. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this one, take it off, go to the other strand, open it. I'm gonna put on the other strand, just like that, and then put on the toggle clasp, one end of it, and close it. Just like that. So same on the other one. Take off one of them, go to the other, open. And the big thing here is you just want them where they're not, tangled or twisted or anything like that. So honestly, I'm just gonna take this one off as well, but I'm holding on to it. I'm just gonna have them hang where they're not twisted. And then put on both strands. I'll hold it out, that way I can see that the other end is not twisted. And then I'm gonna put on the other end of the toggle clasp and close it. Just like that. So there you can see it. Really pretty. Oh, I love it when the clasps are part of the design. And you can always, in my opinion, in my experience, you can just trust what you're ordering from Beebeecraft because they're very solid, very secure, and just beautiful. So there is the bracelet. I love multi-strand bracelets because I tend to stack bracelets anyway. I'll wear multiple bracelets. So when I make multi-strand, I don't have to worry about finding a set of bracelets because the set is made together. So you know it's gonna match, you know it's gonna look good. Oh, these are so pretty. All right, so I'm gonna set it up on my display so we can see it better. All right, so here it is. I can't say it enough how much I love those cherry blossom beads. They are so, so pretty. I absolutely love them. And I think it goes really well together with that focal bead in the front. I don't know, I just think this came together so beautifully. And I really love that toggle clasp. And like I said while I was making it, I love it when the clasp becomes part of the design. It just really adds something to it. Instead of just being purely functional, it all becomes part of what makes the whole thing beautiful. So once again, if you are interested in Sam's Bead Box, I will have all the information in the description box below, including my code, and that code is Casey. And that code will get you $5 off your first box of a subscription. And I will also have the information for Beebeecraft.com. My code for them is Casey10, and that code will get you 10% off your entire order from their website. So if you like this video and you want to see other videos just like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and give me a like. Leave a comment. I absolutely love reading my comments. You guys are so, so kind. And I definitely look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.